Last we had was audio recorders. I'm now going to jump into Bigfoot vocalizations. The Bigfoot screams that a lot of the popular TV shows and stuff now, and a lot of the hunters use as they go out and they scream real loud into the night and hope to hear a response and stuff. And I'm just going to say, stop it. It's silly. It proves nothing. And here's why. It's really detrimental to the people that's actually trying to gather evidence if you have a bunch of these yahoos yelling out in the middle of the night all these different noises that you're hoping to hear a Bigfoot. And you're hearing these guys instead. Maybe there's a small percentage that some of these could actually be real or come from a Sasquatch. But you can never tell. You can never investigate where these noises are coming from because they're so far away. Now, if these screams happened 20 feet in front of you to where it scares the crap out of you, trust me, but if you can chase the noise down and see potentially what was making the noise, then I understand. But the ones that's a mile, 5 miles out, it's interesting evidence to a point of you have no idea what it is. You can't say that that was a Sasquatch or Bigfoot scream. You have no idea what it is. And there's no way to confirm what it is. There's no way to find out what that was. So it's not evidence. The Bigfoot screams and yells, to me, mean absolutely nothing. Because you can't prove whether it was faked or whether it was a coyote or some other animal, more than likely a human trying to imitate the people on TV that's trying to imitate Bigfoot noises that they potentially know is Bigfoot. And it's a whole bunch of potential, maybes that you can never confirm ever. You have no idea what you're yelling out there, for starters. And to expect them to yell back or have an auditory message back to you when you have no idea what you're yelling at them doesn't make any sense. And if you actually watch these TV shows that they do this in, right? I do. Find it humorous at times. Because every time that they do that and don't get anything back, and they repeatedly do it all night long, they get no evidence. Or what evidence they started to get. They heard a knock. They heard a tree break. They heard something going on. So do they decide to do this stupid yell, and then all evidence stops for the rest of the night. And yet they keep doing it over and over again. They haven't seen the pattern. They don't see the show that they make or the mistakes that makes. You're trying to draw one in, and you're telling it, hey, I'm not one of you, but I'm going to give you the sign that stay away. Because you have no idea what you're saying to them. Maybe a yell like that is a confirmation of there's people in the area. Stay down, be quiet. Or get the hell out. And people think that this is a legitimate way to get any evidence, and it's not. So then you might want to ask, well, then why are you so concerned with setting up audio recorders? Alright, there's a big difference between a yell that's 5 miles away that's echoing throughout the canyon or whatever that you can't ever find out what it is. But you can get audio evidence of other means. I am a big supporter of the samurai language that they speak. I've heard them. I've heard them mumble it. I've heard them sound exactly like some of the other recordings that I've heard. And they literally sound like a bad samurai movie when they're trying to talk to one another, usually quietly. And they tend to talk and move more when it's raining or there's other sounds out, like a plane going overhead. they're actually more active because they use other noises that happen in the wild to cover the noises that they make themselves. It makes sense. And I've heard them do it. And my audio recording evidence actually proves that. That as soon as there's other evidence and other things going around, especially when the sequoias were out last year, and you can hear them move around, but they'll move whenever those are at their peak and all screaming in unison, because it's just easier and it masks their movement. Like I said, it sounds like a bad Japanese movie that's dubbed. I mean, it really does. It sounds kind of silly, but it's always like really, really low and like at a whisper. It's always a wish. But on the top of all the other noises, and it's kind of off in the distance or down the hill a little bit, or, you know, whenever you do hear these type of things, and you're always like, it sounds like people talking, but yet you have no idea what language they're speaking. But all you hear is like a kind of the muffle. Well, that's what kind of audio evidence that you're trying to gather of them walking around, that you can actually hear things walking bipedally through the woods. Trust me, after you listen to things for a while, you know what's a deer or a wolf or a coyote, and what walks on 4 legs and what's massive and walks on 2. Big difference. And that's the stuff that you should be trying to acquire when you're doing your audio evidence. You're trying to get things that they are doing, but not the screaming. If you happen to catch one screaming and it's that close that your little audio recorder is picking it up, then you might have something, because it's that close to where you're camping, to where you could actually, obviously would have woken you up, and you could have actually went and investigated it. Then it's worth it. But other than that, I think that's what the main reason for the audio recorders are, is to hopefully try and catch something that we can evaluate later. You know, this is a language of theirs. The more that we can capture and what little words and noises that they make, we can try and mimic, interpret later. Like, we're trying to interpret them when they're doing their big yells. I don't. I try and interpret their samurai speech. I've got a bunch of clips that I've memorized that I'm going to try and create some type of dialogue or communication to them. You know, try and say something in their language. Unlike other people that try to teach Bigfoot human language. It's kind of weird. It's one way to get better evidence. And that's what this is about. So, thank you for listening about audio recorders and Bigfoot vocalizations. And I thank you very much for your time. And please stay tuned for the other videos. Thank you.